do a roll call again, gentlemen?
I'll show.
Well, I have to punch it up over here.
You gotta hit your bottom button on yours.
Right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ascension Board of Adjustments is now called to order. My name is James Cecil, Chairman. Roll call of members. Mr. David LeBlanc.
I'm present.
Mr. Brad Walker.
Here.
Miss Kathy Desideer.
Here.
Like to smile. Mr. Howard Dalton.
Present.
At this time, I'm going to open up the public comment period. If you're here to comment on anything in the agenda tonight, hold that comment until that comes up on the agenda. What this does is open the floor for any individual that has an idea, want to tell what a bad job we're doing, what a good job we're doing, which we never get that one, and also any comments that you feel would be pertinent for this board to run more efficiently, or anything that you're unhappy with what this board does. Okay, moving right along. I'd like to have a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of September the 26th of 2006.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Excuse me. Acceptance of the written decision of September the 26th of 2006.
So moved.
Second.
Any opposition? Motion carries. First on the agenda tonight is 1602.06. That's for Mr. Robert Folsom. It's located on the east side of LA Highway 73, approximately 500 feet south of Post Office Road. You're Mr. Folsom. Could you come and step before the podium, please, sir? Sign in.
You can have that one. Yeah, you do. 1607. Oh, did you read the wrong number?
I think it's
Well?
a typo here on
Oh,
the
okay.
thing. It's 1607.
Now, let me make a correction on that. That is 1607, not 1602. Ms. Chen, make note. Go ahead, sir. State your.
I was asking for a variance on that property. There is a house located on that piece of property. It is the second house, I guess, west of Highway, or Post Office Road on Highway 73. We're just asking for a square footage variance to open a small business in that location. The square footage on that on the house that is on that property, I believe, is 1,950 living, 2,250 under roof, and it's approximately 1 acre in size, the land. The intentions were to open a small animal veterinary clinic there. I currently have a facility on Airline Highway very near there, and I'm looking to get off of that piece of property and move close to that location. So that would be the purpose of that variance, to not have to structurally alter that building dramatically.
You're requesting 450 feet, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's not adding on to the building, just making it the whole building.
Probably at most closing in the garage that's there. If any alterations to the structure that's there now, that would be it. There are a couple of small buildings on the land that we'd probably either utilize for storage or eliminate, and maybe closing that garage. So that would make it, I believe, 2,250 complete under roof.
Okay, but you're asking for 1950 tonight, correct? 450?
Well, the man, he's put the house on sale himself, for sale by owner, so he was not sure initially. He had given me 2,400 square feet, and that is not correct. So I think 1950 is the total living with a garage, well, carport. So the carport makes it 2,200 roughly, and that's his measurements.
Okay, but what I'm asking you is you're asking for 450 tonight.
Correct.
So
well, on top
that
of
would be you using the 1950, not...
correct, using the whole
Just wanna-
structure right for that
exactly.
purpose. And so yeah, that's actually
Well, the whole structure minus the carport. If the carport, with the carport's 2,200 square feet, we're giving you a variance for 1,950. So that means you can't use some of it.
Right. No, I'm asking for whatever the difference is on that, which I maybe was unsure when I filed it. That I used the square footage that the owner of the property, who still owns it, gave me, which we might have listed at 1,950. It has not been measured by anyone except the owner of the house, so I didn't go over there and just walk it off. I went by what the builder and the previous owner have given me as that information.
Well, sir, the problem is this. If the underroof area is like arbitrarily, let's say, 2,200 square feet, and we grant you a variance for a maximum of 1,950 square feet, that would mean that there would be some square footage under roof you could not use.
Right.
And you've just stated you want to use the whole under roof area.
The structure itself I want to use for a clinic. I mean, I need the other roof for either storage or parking. Yeah, I mean, the whole business is going to go on that location. I'm not going to add to that structure, so we're not going to make it any larger. That's to follow her question. So yeah, I would need the whole structure. I don't necessarily have to close in that garage, and there's not going to be anything outside that's going to stay outside. But yeah, I'm asking to use the building that is there now for that variance, which I think is 1,950 square feet.
Well, you can use the carport for parking.
Right. That's what we need.
Okay.
I'm just making sure y'all understand that I don't. I mean,
Well,
there's
we
going
just
to
wanted
be.
to make sure that you understood that we were
Right.
we were talking about 450 square feet.
Right. I believe that is true.
Okay.
According to what the owner has told me.
Motion open public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody in the audience like to speak in favor for or against this gentleman's request? Go ahead and close public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questions by this board? Or do we have a full understanding of what he's requesting? Everybody understands? Okay.
I understand. I just have a couple of questions as far as moving it into a veterinary. Is there any considerations like, I know y'all tend to keep fences and boarding. Is this going to be boarding? Is it going to be a lot of noise going on?
Excuse me. We do some boarding, but everything stays inside. At my current facility, I have a fenced-in yard where we let the dogs go out, but nothing stays out overnight, so that is not an issue overnight. Everything we keep on premise is indoors. So, right, there's nothing outside that would be making noise at night, if that's your question.
Got a comment, Lance?
Yes, I just want to say that in that district, it says that an animal hospital is allowed as long as animals are inside.
Okay.
No animals can be outside.
Any other further questions by the board? Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the variance
As written, sir?
as written.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and also we have a second to accept this as written. Any opposition? No opposition? So moved. Variance is granted, sir.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda tonight is, better check this number, 1608.06, lot number 6, Walker Estates, for Charles D. Hollingsworth, located on the east side of Poitier Road, approximately 1,550 feet south of LA Highway 937. Please sign in, ma'am. Take it you're representing.
I'm representing my dad.
Could you speak into the microphone, please, ma'am?
I'm his daughter.
Okay, ma'am. That's fine.
Okay. I'm trying to request an address for my cousin. So she's living with me right now. She has 2 kids. And just to allow her to put a trailer over there by me.
Go ahead and open up public hearing, please.
Motion open. Second.
Public hearing is now open. This board have any questions before I go to the public?
Now, in reading this, it appeared this was going to be a temporary situation.
Ms. Kathy, microphone, please. Must be a
This is
girlfriend.
going to be a temporary situation.
Till she can get on her feet and it may be a couple years. but-
Okay.
Anyone in the audience like to speak for or against this young lady's request, please go ahead and step up to the podium and sign in, please. And state your name also.
Cecile Marie Poirier Bush, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No, that's okay. We'll get them there. That's fine.
I'm here representing my family, sir. We have the property just adjacent. That would be Alvin Edward Bush, Willie Berlin Bush, and Willie's beneficiaries, one of whom is my son, Isa Felix Nimmer Berlin Haddad, and one of whom is Alvin's son, Edward Marshall Bush, who is currently in the Pacific Ocean, and my son's only 5.5, so neither of them can, say. Tiger is Alvin Edward. He's currently established a secondary residence in Shreveport, could not be here for work purposes. He's with LSU Shreveport PD right now. Willie, I guess, I don't know where he went. Willie does not object whatsoever. Tiger, that would be Alvin, wanted to make sure that this was a charitable thing, that it wasn't for rent or pay, because we understood that it was something that she was doing, to really help this person out, and we appreciate that. And for myself, I have no objection whatsoever.
Okay, is that it, ma'am?
That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to speak for or against this young lady's request?
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questions by this board?
The only question I have, would you be against it if we add a stipulation that she's the only one that can go in here, and if she leaves, the trailer has to go?
She leaves, the trailer leaves.
Okay.
Ma'am, how would you feel about some time cap on this thing? Because if she was to stay there forever,
She don't want to put up with me forever.
I realize that, but I'm also concerned about, we've turned other situations down like this, when we put a trailer on a property where it was not an immediate family member.
Right.
And I'm concerned about opening Pandora's box.
I don't have a problem.
What time frame would you be okay with?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm trying to help her get back on her feet, and that takes time. She's been through a divorce.
I'm not suggesting, nor am I trying to make you follow this, but thinking years to be protective of the lady that's going to move in.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
mean,
I
the
would
6
really
months and
like
stuff
to
like that
leave
is
it
not
to
gonna be
where
effective.
if she decides to leave, that one of my kids can move in.
Okay, does everybody
Technically,
hear
that'd
that?
be allowed.
It's still
That's
allowed.
permitted.
Well,
That
next
would be
kin,
permitted.
It's next kin anyhow, so that's fine. It's still allowed.
We say 18 months. That's what we're
Ma'am,
doing.
is it all set up for septic and water?
It will be.
I really,
Okay,
We haven't done anything until we found out if everything was going to go okay.
I see.
really don't want to cap it.
I mean, you're talking about 3 grand if he's moving.
This is a discussion between the board members. It's not secretly doing anything. Do
Not with
speak
the
in your
microphones on
microphone.
anyway.
Speak into your
Well,
microphones in
what I was
discussion.
saying that when you're limited time on a mobile home, you have to also look at the expense of moving and setting up these mobile homes. I mean, you don't want to allow somebody to put a mobile home on property and then immediately expect them to move it.
That's why
because of the
I
expense
was asking the board to
factors.
be very cautious of their time limit. I'm not sure how much a trailer costs to move, but I'm sure it's expensive.
Well, Mr. Chairman, my concern is if we put a time limit on this thing, now we put the parish in an enforcement position.
That's another issue that it was bringing
And
up.
I'm very uncomfortable with that because I can see where there's a lot of, they could get out of control very easily and go through the cracks.
As we
There's
had done
14
before,
acres.
it's been in good faith.
Almost 15.
But what happens is we do that all the time when we put stipulations on anything. The parish has got to enforce it.
That's
Here
correct.
we're just giving them a way to enforce it if it needs to be enforced.
Okay,
Could we hear from Our zoning official?
You can put a time frame on it. I'll, whatever the time frame is. My feeling is that once that time frame's up, it's probably just what Miss Tammy stated. One of her family members or somebody would probably move into it after that point. After that, after the person that she's requesting would move out. One of her kids or an immediate family member would probably reside in it.
Right.
Any other further discussion? All right, I guess I'm going to ask this question. Are we going to set a time limit?
I could feel comfortable with, for this non-family member to live there, a 3-year time window.
Is that acceptable by all board members?
Yes.
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 Dave?
Yes.
So you want
Okay.
a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept to allow this non-family member to live there in a separate mobile home for 3 years, at which time she would need to find a different place to live.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second for a time limit of 3 years on a non-family member. Any opposition for that? No opposition? So carried, motion carried. Variance is granted, ma'am. Next on the agenda is, excuse me, 1609.06, Lot 24 and 24A, Bayou Terrace subdivision for Richard and Barbara McCormick, located on the north and south side of Bayou Terrace Drive, approximately 13,200 feet, 2.5 miles, west of LA Highway 22.
Hi, I'm Karen Kennedy. I'm here representing Mr. and Mrs. McCormick in their request. A little background on Bayou Terrace. I'm sure y'all are all familiar with it. This is a very unique road with unique subdivision because the property line goes to the center line of the road. Therefore, all the properties have the minimum 55-foot front building line as opposed to a 25-foot right-of-way and a 25-foot building line in a typical RM zoning. These properties are also unique because there is such a significant drop-off. Even though they are 200 feet deep, the buildable area on the property is minimized because of that drop-off unless significant fill is brought into the site. A large portion of the properties on Bayou Terrace Road, including either property on either side of Mr. and Mrs. McCormick, have requested a variance and are anywhere between 40 to 47 to 50 feet from the center line of the road. So we are requesting a 40-foot variance for the lot 24 and 24A.
A 40-foot or a 15?
Well, we're asking for a 40-foot building
you're
line,
asking
I'm sorry,
40?
so a 15-foot
15 would be the variance.
Open public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Any questions by the board members? All right, I'm going to go public. Anyone in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this young lady's request? Close public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questioning or discussion by the board members? Do we have, Dave?
I have no
Okay.
question.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that this variance be granted as written. I'm familiar with the unique characteristics of the land out there, which is basically spoil from when the diversion canal was built, and as the young lady said, there is limited land usage. So this would permit the maximum use.
Second.
Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries. Variance is granted, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is 1610.06, Lot 8, Oak Grove Courtyard for Ronald Larseneau, located on the south side of Court Avenue, approximately 60 feet east of Grove Avenue. Go ahead,
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name's Ron Larseneau. I'm asking for a 4'11" variance on this said property. It's an odd-shaped lot, trying to fit this house on there as it shows. I think I may have sent you all a plot plan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody have that plot plan in there?
Yes.
And I have a question. I just want to make sure that the eave of the house does not go into the 15-foot.
Yes, ma'am. We will make, the eaves of the house will be, we haven't laid it out, and it should not go. Everything should fit as we see it right now, and the eaves of the house will not encroach on the outside that property line there.
Okay, open public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Close public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further discussion or questions by the board members? None. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion that we approve this as written because of the size and shape of the lot to get maximum usage for the homeowner. I don't see any way otherwise for them to put this house on this lot the way it's shaped.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. David LeBlanc seconded that. We have a motion and a second to approve as written. Any opposition? No opposition. So for it, the motion carries. The variance is approved.
Thank you. Good night.
Next on the agenda tonight is 1611.06, Lot 6, Robert Wilson, tract for Robert Wilson Jr., located on the northwest corner of LA 30 and Robert Wilson Road.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie Como with Gully Phelps McKee Real Estate, and I'm here to represent the Wilson family. And we're here asking tonight for a variance of height on this property, or the building to be built on this property. We recently received a zoning change to be able to erect a hotel on this property. The variance we're asking for is from 35 to 53 feet. And I've met with Chief Browning and with Chief Wytek, and neither had any problems with the height of this building, mainly because the windows of the fourth floor are almost within the range, the facade, and I think that we sent you guys a picture of the building. You can see it's so much higher. It's taken in the more height than you have, and we would ask that you would give us a variance on the height of that property.
Now, let me ask you a question, because it seems to be a big issue for any building that has a height requirement. We're talking about sprinkler systems that's going to be installed, meeting with the fire code. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Like I said, I met with Mr. Wytek, and we've discussed the systems and everything, and he said that would suffice for what they needed.
And we've also talked about the standpipes too. That's required by the fire department for their access.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the question he asked was, do we have to hook our trucks to the building to pump water into the systems? And I said, no, it's going to be a contained system. And I gave him all of the requirements of the systems that they were going to use, and also the evacuation time of the to evacuate the buildings at certain times of the day, as far as the...
And that's based on previous buildings that's already been constructed with their calculations. Is
yes,
correct?
sir. Yes,
what
sir.
I'm doing is I'm asking these questions to kind of make sure that to expedite the speediness of this, because it was an issue, and I'll be honest with you, we had a big issue with another chain.
Yes, sir.
And I've done a lot of research on this myself, sir. So this reason why I'm asking you these pertinent questions. I'm not trying to put you on a hot seat.
Not a problem.
I just want to make sure that we expedite this meeting a little bit more efficiently.
Not a problem.
Okay.
My only question is, there's different levels of sprinkler systems, because the one we asked for on the last one hotel that we approved gave them their own class of fire rating, where they did not affect the rest of the fire rating.
Yes,
is that a certain type or
yes,
level
is.
of sprinklers
and
versus
this
just
is a standard throughout
regular
the
sprinkler?
industry. And they're doing this with all hotels and all restaurants now too. This is something not quite so new, but it's been around for a while. But no, you're not. This won't affect any private individual.
But what I'm asking is what he's putting in is that level. I mean, are there different levels of sprinklers that can go in, like, a basic level that, doesn't affect fire rating versus a higher level?
What they've required of him, and that's the reason why I asked him most pertinent question, is those standpipes. Those standpipes is on the higher level that you're talking about. And it's not required to have a standpipe. Fire departments love to have standpipes because they can access those standpipes in order to fight fire and do rescue much more proficiently if in event of a failure of that sprinkler system. Been around that a little bit this last month. I just want to make sure we were okay. And by the way, answer to the question, and I'm sure might come up, is a fire truck can be here. A ladder truck is what we were asking the last time, and a ladder truck can be here within 6 months as required by the fire department.
And
doesn't Gonzales have a ladder truck?
They have one, but you always treat everything as worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that truck's in use at the time he has an issue, and Prairieville is getting a ladder truck. I think that was iffy last meeting. They are getting a ladder truck, and we're looking at, as things move out further, all fire departments are in tune right now. We might get a new truck. So
now you're saying that the fire department that is servicing this location is getting a fire truck in 6 months?
No, ma'am. They can be here as short
that's what
as
I was
6 months.
asking them.
No.
Are they getting one in 6 months?
They still want to go through their normal process, which their normal process is they send out for bids, and then they also want to do the specking on that particular truck to customize that truck for its needs. So kind of just trying to offset some of these questions. So go ahead, sir. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I met with Butch and the chief in Gonzales, and he, just like you had said, their priority is first, and if they have a fire in the city and outside, the city is prioritized. But Mr. Wytek also went over about them ordering or getting that fire truck here soon. It'll probably be a year and a half before this building is built, so everything should be in order at that time, and they're going to put the most modern fire system in there. And I went over that with Mr. Wytek this morning. He was and he was in full agreement that they should be in full compliance with everything. And so my people said that they'll bend over backwards to meet any requirements that they ask for here. So I don't see that we have a problem with that.
How many entrances and exits are you going to have on the property?
I was hoping that one of the owners of the hotel was going to be here tonight to answer all of these questions, and I wouldn't have had to have done that. But that is going to be, I would say, architecturally, to be permitted, they have to have whatever the national requirements are for certain square footage of buildings for entrances and exits. So that's about the best answer I can give you. I can tell you it's going to be a Hampton Inn, so it's not going to be a low-quality hotel. They stand behind what they do. I'm sorry.
The reason I'm asking you that is the last hotel that we had a discussion with, one of the concerns of the fire chief was that they were going to have a one-exit entrance only. So
Talking about parking?
That was a driveway.
Into the drive. And so that's what I'm trying to make sure
you're talking about, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about into the hotel. You're talking about off of the highway.
Yes.
Right.
No, we have they're going to have a side entrance and a front entrance on this, because the side entrance will be on Robert Wilson Road. The other entrance will be on Highway 30.
And are any improvements going to be made to Robert Wilson Road to accommodate this?
I'm sure whatever the parish is going to require them to put in, they're going to have to put in to get the permitting.
Okay.
Any other further questions? Because I'm going to go public. Open public hearing, please.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Close public hearing. We have one. Please come up and sign, sir. Sign in at the edge of the table, and go a step towards the podium and state your name.
My name is
Go ahead,
Kirk Wilson. I'm the son of Robert Wilson. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm fully in favor of, for the sake of economic development and continuing growth of Gonzales.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Do you own the adjacent? Does you said your father owns the adjacent property?
Adjacent property to what?
To the where the hotel is going to be located?
No, not him personally, no.
Because I see a Wilson on the plate here.
His family members own that whole strip.
Yeah, I thought so.
Behind that property.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Okay,
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further discussion by the board members or any questions?
Well,
The only thing I'd like to comment is on her lines as far as the 2 entrances. There was also something they had an issue with on the last hotel, was that there was not enough turning radius coming in out in one and out the other with a fire truck. I don't see where the hotel's actually placed on the plot.
No, it's not. And not at this point. They didn't want to go through too much more engineering until we've got to spend any more money. Actually, all they have is a purchase agreement. They have not purchased the property yet.
That's the only concern I think we had last time, besides the 2 entrances, is that a fire truck actually has to make a radius around that hotel, and it was the last hotel was too sharp, so they had to make some adjustments to where the building was located.
I would think that we have a little more room here than, I know which one you're speaking of, and I don't think we're going to have that problem there, but I will be fairly certain that the parish permits is going to make sure that all this is taken care
Mr. Ray,
of.
would you like to make a contingent?
Oh, you can make it contingent upon that.
Would you want to make this in as a motion and then contingent?
I mean, I'd probably like to make the same, contingencies like we did the last hotel, as far as with the 2 entrances, the turning radius, and then also the sprinkler system that meets it where they have their own class rating and not affect the rest.
I would say that in order to have consistency and to make sure, because of course part of the problem here is we can be told anything, and this has nothing to do with you.
I agree with you.
But if we don't make it a part of the variance, then there's nothing that holds you to that once you leave.
I don't have a problem with that.
So I'm going to make a motion that we approve this variance with the stipulation that there are standpipes to every floor, that there are 2 driveways, the front entrance and the side entrance, that will accommodate the turning radius of a fire truck, and that the sprinkler system be the best available for the class of hotel that you're constructing, and that what else did we place on the other? Oh, that the sprinkler system be of the type that it does put them without the boundaries of affecting the fire department rating.
I'll second that.
Wow, okay. We got a motion with stipulations. Instead of reading over those stipulations, Ms. Jones has recorded them. Does everybody understand those stipulations that was Ms. Kathy had put?
Yes.
Okay. Any opposition to it? No opposition?
None.
Motion carries. Variance granted.
Thank you all very much for the time.
All right, next on the agenda is 1612.06, Lot 39, Dutchtown Villas for Colonial Investments, LLC, located on the west side of Dutchtown Villa Drive, approximately 1,200 feet south of LA 74. Go ahead, sir. State your name.
How you doing? Brian O'Quinn, Colonial
You have
Investments
signed in,
LLC.
correct?
No, I didn't.
Go ahead, sir.
We're requesting a 2-foot variance on the property to be able to build the house without having an irregular shape to the house.
How much you requesting, sir?
A 2-foot variance.
I'm looking at the variance being requested as 5'6".
That's more than 2 foot in that building line.
You're going from 25 to 19.6.
Is this 5'6"
I
correct?
apologize. It is. It's correct. I was thinking about something else.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's pretty much it. It's just to be able to fit, and we're at the minimum square footage requirements. To be able to fit a house on there, that would look right. We do need that variance. Otherwise, the lot would be pretty much rendered useless. We'd have to put some type of long-shaped house on it, and it wouldn't fit the subdivision.
Any questions or
Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now open, but before I go to the public, any board member have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, sir. Use your microphone, please.
This come before us last month?
Yes, sir. It did. It did.
The two.
And this is exactly the same request you had last month?
We did make a small change. It said that it,
Okay.
Let me make a comment here. We are working on amending these ordinances for these T-turnarounds and these cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, they need
because
to be.
they're coming up every month, and y'all are being put in a position, and we're trying to make it consistently, because really, we run into a problem. It's really the odd shape of the lot that's causing these to come up. And so Lance and I and one of the planning and zoning members have met, and we talked about adjusting the rules for T-turnarounds and cul-de-sacs, because it creates an odd-shaped lot because of our building setback lines. And back-to-back lots, there's a bunch of those issues that we're trying to resolve where they don't have to come here every month for variances.
Mr. Lance, you had a comment, sir?
And I said corner lots also.
Oh, corner lots?
Yes, sir.
Motion
to
close public hearing.
Public hearing. Anyone in the audience like to speak in favor for or against this gentleman's request? Go ahead and close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questions by the board members? Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance due to the unique shape of the lot.
Second.
We have a motion to approve as written. Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries. Variance is granted.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn. Any opposition? We are now adjourned.
O'Neill, I got the impression then you think it's going to be positive in the fact that we're going to get this zoning.
Missing you since you went away, having the blues both night and day. Weeping, wailing and crying and carrying on for you. Oh, babe, I in the mood to let you know